What's up guys, welcome back to Dummy Tech Talks. This monitor is my Samsung Odyssey G9 that I did a video on 3 or 4 years ago unboxing it. And then I did another one shortly after that comparing it to an ultra wide and then also a regular 16:9 widescreen. This thing has been amazing over the last few years. It's been absolutely phenomenal, 1440p, 240 hertz. However, I just got back from vacation and now this is all it does. It has a backlight that turns on and that's it. If I hit the on-screen diagnostics button, OSD button, nothing happens. Can't turn it off, can't bring up any menu. When it's hooked up to the computer sees it and recognizes it as a monitor, and you can still drag things to it, but you can't see anything because there's no display. After doing some research, I found there is a way to fix it. Sometimes you can smack it around, like hit the back or the side or whatever, and sometimes people say that works. That's not the case for me. It is not working. So I have to go in and do a little bit of desoldering. It shouldn't be very difficult. It's just a little scary given the price and how big these things are. So without further ado, let's get in there and fix this monitor. First things first, we have to get this off the stand and lay it very carefully on its face. So I have these pillows here to help support the middle with the 1000R curve. That's pretty substantial. I don't want to damage it any more than it's already been damaged. We'll see how it goes. That's enough pillows. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's putting very, very, very little pressure on the monitor itself. Now my little bag of tools here. Let me grab a small Phillips head screwdriver. This will work. And there are 4 screws right inside here. Alright, real simple. All I had to do is unscrew those 4 screws and then lift the back end, the bottom of it up, because there's a little hook in there, and then it comes right out. Put that off to the side. And we will continue. So, after doing all the research online that I did for this to make sure I wasn't going to damage it more or break it entirely, I found there are, it's a screwless assembly, at least the back is put on without any screws. So there are 2 little spots here and here, and basically what you're gonna do, well, you'll see me do it, is stick a tool in there. Online the guy did an actual metal screwdriver. That's a little scary for me. I might try it if I can't get a plastic spudger or something like that to work, but we'll see. If we can pop that out, then you just kind of go around and pop out all the pins, the hooks, and the back comes right off. We'll see that. This is one of the little holes that you would stick a screwdriver or something. So you could pop this out and then work your way around the side to pop off the whole back panel. There is another one over here on this side. So you can get to both sides, pop it off, and then hopefully the whole back panel will come off without damaging anything. We'll see. Little kid screwdriver from who knows when. See if that'll work. Alright, it did start to lift, so now I have a little spudger. I'm going to try to get it in here to... And, sorry, my dogs keep coming and going. That is something to live with, I suppose. Alright, see? It's actually very easy. And that was not scary, thankfully. But on the bottom here, there are these, which are the clips, and they go along the entire bottom all the way over the other side. This is the inside of my Samsung Odyssey G9, and the board I'm going to be trying to get to is behind this RGB circle. I believe the component I need to actually desolder is up here in this corner. I will confirm that and you guys will see the whole process. Now that we're in here, there are 2 screws on this RGB board that we need to take off. One here and one here. There is a hole for one at the top right. Do not put one back there later because there's not one there now. I'm going to go ahead and take this clip off, the bottom right. You push down to lift up the latch and then pull it out. Nice and easy. And just kind of put that out of the way. Now, screw number 1. Keep track of your screws. You don't want to put them back on there when you put them back together. Screw number 2. Alright. Yeah, alright, cool. Just lifts right up. We'll put that off the side there. Keep it out of the way. Now we have this heat shield thing here. The TCON board should be underneath it, at least in the models I've seen online. And to get to it, we have to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 more screws. Again, I did do research. I did look this up, but this is my first time doing this, so I'm being pretty careful and making sure that I don't really screw up. All right, I got 1 screw out, and then dog issues. So anyway, there's 1. I will do a close-up real quick showing you guys where each screw was, just so there's no confusion. Here we are. We've already taken the RGB panel off the board, and I've actually already taken out 4 screws that we need to take out to remove this panel. There was 1 here, 1 down here, and 1 up here, and 1 right here. Those are the 4 screws that I removed. All right, hopefully this board, or this panel just comes right off. I'm assuming there's some heat pads and stuff in here. It was adhered to it. Yes. There's 1 massive heating pad in here. Wow, that thing's like freaking like 1 inch thick. Anyway, it looks like it covers pretty much the whole board. But yeah, anyway, very sticky, came off. Don't touch it if you can help it. Put that off on the side, and I'll do another close-up of this board and show you all which component it is that we are going to actually be removing. All right, after removing that back panel, this is what we are looking at, the TCON board. And just in case you're wondering, this is the thermal pad. It is incredibly thick, but it covers pretty much the whole thing. It tries to keep it the whole thing cool. The component that we will actually be removing is right out here on this edge. It is the larger of these 3 little components here. And once it's gone, in theory, everything should work just fine. To avoid damaging any other components and to make it easy for myself to work on things, I'm going to be removing this board, which you need to be very careful with, because if you damage these ribbon cables or anything else in here, you could completely kill the monitor or have to do a lot more work to fix it. Alright, well, there are 2 screws and 4 cables to remove here, so let's do it. So these bottom ribbon cables have these little locking mechanisms that just flip up. You can probably use your finger. I used a spudger because I have one right here. And that, I believe, is just going to make it easier for you not to damage anything. They pull out kind of back towards me in this orientation, and they just lay flat. These other cables, they have what appears to be a locking mechanism where you squeeze on the sides and pull out. That is exactly what it is. So you squeeze on both sides a little bit, not too hard, and then it pulls straight out. Be very careful, again, not to damage those. I do, y'all probably don't, and I know I don't have any replacement cables or parts like that at all, so just be careful. Now, 2 screws. You can probably use a much smaller screwdriver. This is working, so I'm not going to change right now. But yes, screw number 1. There you go. Again, keep track of your screws. Make sure you know which ones go where. There's not that many. Right now there's only like 10? 8 actually? Wow, math. Alright, so this is screw number 8 in the entire process so far. Right there. And because I would like to put this board on a non-conductive surface, and I'm not a huge fan of these PVC tables being the surface that you put a board, whether it be a motherboard, daughterboard, whatever board on it, I have a big wooden cutting board. If you have a wooden table, that should be fine, or some kind of cover that is just non-conductive. This way I can put it here, I can see everything because it's bright, and I can work on it however I need to. So, here we go. Right. Now, it feels like there is another heating pad, or whatever, thermal pad underneath the board as well. Be very careful when lifting it up. There is a thermal pad that was right in the middle. I'll do a quick close-up of that so you guys can see it, but just be careful not to bend it too much to break any traces or anything like that that are on the PCB. Here is the TCON board removed from the monitor. The little component we will be removing is the top left there. It's actually separated from the PCB. As you can see, there's a little slice in there that is from the factory. And then this is where it came from. This is the small thermal pad that it was sticking to on the front side of the monitor, or the back of the front of the monitor, if that makes any sense. Anyway, let's get to work. Okay, as you can see, we successfully removed the component we were looking for, that THA1 resistor, or thermistor is what they called it online. They said everybody that I looked up who had removed it has not had any issues since, and they have not replaced it because they cannot find the proper replacement part anyway. So this should fix the monitor. This is it. If you'd like to see the actual size, of it, it is right here. This little tiny thing, which is funny because it's actually the bigger of the 3 that were right here. And as you can see, I am not perfect at soldering, but I got it off, and I believe I have not damaged any of the other components. So we're gonna just put it all back together and cross our fingers and hope it works. Let's go. All right, as y'all saw, I have successfully removed the one component that we were trying to remove. You do not need a microscope, as you just saw. I can see how it would be helpful, but just make sure you've got enough light. Like I used the light on the phone that I was recording with at the time of doing that project, and it was not so bad. Find some tweezers or some forceps, and what I had, yeah, just keep heating it up until it comes off. Try not to damage anything else on the board. Without further ado, let's reinstall it. Same way we took it apart, we are going to line up the little, I don't know what they're called, but the little pins on the sides where the screw holes are, so that it falls perfectly into place. Before we plug everything in, we're going to go ahead and fasten the screws back down so it is nice and solid, so when we do plug everything in and put the ribbon cables back on to lock them back down, they are not going to move. The board won't slide around, and the stuff that you're hooking up should all be nice and solid. One screw, two screw. There were just these two screws holding this board in place. It's actually same for the other one, which is funny. But all right, those two are now on. Now we'll go ahead and plug everything back in. Again, squeeze the sides of these top ones. Actually, I don't think you need to when you plug them in. No, you do not. Just plug them right in. And with these, put them in place. So, and then lock it down. All right, we're gonna reattach this ribbon cable. I've already done this one, and these two you just push on like that and it'll clip into place. With these you have to bend back a bit, slide them into their spot just like that, and then this should go down and lock into place, which it did not for mine. There we go. So it slides all the way in where all the contacts are. Here, this is what they look like. All those little, wow. You want to push this into place to where all those little contacts are underneath and hidden, like so. And then you lock this in. There's a little bit of pressure, not much. And there we go. The board has been successfully reinstalled and everything's plugged back in. In theory, if you turn it on right now, it should work. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the other stuff back on. Now, for me anyway, because this is kind of a one and done, either it works or it doesn't, I'm really hoping it does, work situation, I'm going to go ahead and put everything together. I'm not going to put the back panel on. Well, have to. We'll see. I'm going to put everything together except for the back panel, plug it in, maybe I'll lean it back, and we'll see if it works. I'm really hoping it does. But, all right. This big old chunky thing. Make sure you line it up. It has the same little divots, two on each side. One on each side, but two at the top, which are also the sides. But that way, you can line it up properly and not have to worry about damaging any components or anything like that. No pinching of wires, nothing crazy. There. Once they're all lined up, screw it in place. This one has 4 screws, one on each side and 2 at the top. Now that that's done, there's not a whole lot left. We will go ahead and put on our RGB ring here. There's an arrow on it that faces towards the top, and also the plug is at the bottom right. There are 2 of the little divots that hold it in place on this as well, so you line it up properly. And remember, there are 3 slots for screws, but you only use the top left and the bottom right one, and these are the last 2 screws in the whole thing. Don't forget to plug it in. The plug should be right here next to where it connects to it. And just push until it clicks. Other than the back panel, that's fully assembled. A little nervous. Alright, and as I was just saying, that's fully assembled, other than the back panel, which typically you would want to test it before completely assembling the panels, putting the side panel on a PC or whatever. But I'm kind of in a position where if this doesn't work, then there's not much I can do anyway. So I think I'm just going to put it together, put it on a stand, turn it on. So let's do that. back panel is fully on. Everything's looking good. All clips are on there. It's not popping up anywhere. We're good to go. Be careful when you're doing that. You obviously don't want to be pushing too hard on it like that, even if it is braced with pillows. Just don't want to damage the actual screen. All right, and this, remember, hooks in on the top. And there we go. Now there's 4 screws to tighten. They were already all on there. Alright, we'll put this ring on. Ready, I guess, really. There we go. Locked in. Again, pretty scary for me, so. Well, that's good news so far. It worked. Thank you, internet. I don't have to buy a new monitor now. Hopefully this helps some of you guys. I don't have a whole lot of skill with all this little tiny soldering and stuff, but that worked. None of this happened. It didn't say display port before. It definitely didn't say no signal before, as you guys can see. So I'm gonna call that a win. I'm gonna wrap this up, plug this thing in, and make sure it still works properly on my computer. All right, and this is the monitor actually working. Here's an old video of ours. I can play. Still in full screen. Look at that. It's working. Other monitor works fine. Still, everything's great. Side to side. Hey, look, there we are.
Yeah. We got it.
If you liked that video or you found it helpful, please hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. That does help us. And hit the bell so you know when we release new content. We're going to try to do a lot more of that here pretty soon. We actually have a channel update coming pretty soon as well. But, yeah, well, thank you all for watching. Until next time.